Hello everyone! I've noticed people throwing a lot of shade at Kefir for how certain things are being handled in Last Day on Earth. In today's video, we're going to be talking about 10 things that Kefir should change about Last Day on Earth and 5 things they should not. Starting with number 10, stop having daily tasks be dependent on random events or areas that need to be reset. If you played Season 4, you probably got the daily task to kill an infected deer. Doing this task, however, was dependent on getting the event to kill an infected deer. If you didn't get it, you couldn't do that task. Now, if you chose not to do a task, that's one thing, but not doing it because you weren't given the opportunity to do it is not fair to the players. Coming in at number 9, add a double-click feature for the bike and workbenches. This one, as small as it might be, would go far for players who want to save a bit of extra time when moving things on and off their workbenches and on and off their bikes after doing a raid or farming adventure. At number 8, have separate energy bars for Sector 7. Everything in Sector 7 is separate from the main area except for energy, health, thirst, hunger, bladder, everything. So why then is it fair to have the same energy bar? You're basically telling players you can either do single player or multiplayer, but not both. I think that is discouraging some people from trying Sector 7 because they're being forced to make a decision that they should not have to make. At number 7, add group transportation for Sector 7. We have bikes, and some people are starting to get the ATVs, so I think it's time that we add group transportation to Sector 7. And get creative with how the parts are found. Maybe have random basements spawn sometimes when a group goes to an event, and have some pieces that can be collected from those basements. It should be a grind for a clan to get this, but it should have a nice payout and benefit clans that are active in Sector 7. Number 6, add icons for stink, bladder, and temperature on the main panel where we can see hunger and thirst. One day I was farming in a red zone and my thirst indicator went off. At the time, I had no stink and no bladder indicator icon showing. I drank a bottle of water and my bladder went from nothing to red. So I peed and my stink indicator went from nothing to red, thus ending my easy farming adventure. With no previous indications, you can go from no bladder and no stink to red bladder and red stink from drinking a single bottle of water. If we had icons showing us how close we were to these thresholds, we could plan around this better before we go out into zones. At number 5, add a search function on the inbox. Now, I haven't been playing this game very long, but I have well over 100 items in my inbox at all times. I would imagine players who have been playing Last Day on Earth longer than I have would have the same, if not more. Trying to find a single item can take a bit of time if you don't know exactly where it is. Having the ability to search for an item would just be a magical addition to this already magical game. Number 4, make raider tasks trackable. Now, I've spoken to several people in the community about this, and I think this is a universally accepted idea. Every time I go out to kill 15 toxic abominations or open 25 chests, I lose track very, very quickly. Even when I'm clearing out the second floor in Bravo bunker, I come home only to realize that I forgot to kill that side room with 2 floater bloaters in it. Having the ability to actively track raider tasks would save time and confusion for players. Any other game that has quests or tasks has the ability to do this, and even for daily and weekly tasks for the season, you can track them to see where your progress is. Raider tasks deserve that same respect. Number 3, the raiding system. I love raiding. It's probably my most favorite thing to do in Last Day on Earth, but there are some things that need to be changed. Now first, let me say that I understand that not all bases are going to be great or even good, but I feel like there should be a minimum threshold for what a raidable base is. We've all had a base that has full stone walls, so you use a C4 to bust in only to find 3 small boxes. First of all, this base was probably built by somebody using a modified version of the game and should not be raidable in the first place. Kefir has acknowledged that they have removed certain items from bases like floppy disks and tons of red tickets, but the base still remains. Why? If they know these people are cheating, then remove the base entirely. In one of my most recent raids, I noticed there was a base that was not worth the C4 that I would have to use to break in, so I took items from the old truck, dug in the garden to make noise, and returned. Doing so, I gave the raiders everything that I had taken from the base. Keep in mind, I did not bring any weapons, armor, or a backpack. The raiders then demanded that I give them more than everything I had taken. Now, some have suggested that their cut is based on everything that you can possibly take from the base, while others say that it's only what you bring back on you and in your backpack and not what is in the bike. I think this ambiguity needs to be cleared up by Kefir so we know why raiders would demand that you give them more than what you took from the base. Number 2, modders. They've influenced the game and the community long enough. We saw it with Fort Moss, we saw it in Season 4, and we're seeing it in raids. I'm glad to hear they are changing their efforts in Season 5, but a lot of these problems wouldn't have even existed if modders weren't in the game. The way to fix this is a simple idea, but has difficult execution. Kefir needs to host their game data on a server, not on local devices. Because of this, they have little to no control over people cheating in their game. Executing this, however, would take a lot of effort to avoid the latency issues like what we're seeing in Sector 7. And number 1, remove random item purchases. If I spend $10 of my money on a pack of files with rare blueprints, I theoretically could get 9 blueprints that I already have. If this happens, what did I just spend $10 on? If you're a person that puts money into a game, you should be guaranteed to get something out of it, even if you change the system to be able to buy specific mods for $5. That would be a better system than $10 for 9 random blueprints. Moving on to 5 things Kefir should not change about Last Day on Earth. Number 5, the dog breeding system. Many people have said that getting a true friend dog in the game is way too difficult, if not impossible, and have suggested that the system be changed. I personally think it's fine just how it is. Remember, this game is meant to be a grind. When you finally get that true friend dog, it's going to feel like something you earned, not something that was just given to you, so you will appreciate it even more. Number 4, box tricking. First, you have to know how to set this up when you're doing a raid. There are very specific ways it can be done, and if you mess it up, it's ruined for the entirety of the raid. Second, Kefir knows this is a thing because if the big one cannot get to you when you reach 100 noise, he will teleport to you and start smacking you in the face. That's their way of saying enough is enough. Box tricking is a great strategy for a raid if you know how to properly set it up. Number 3, Bunker Bravo's difficulty. If I had a nickel for every time someone said to me that Bunker Bravo is too hard, I'd use that nickel to throw it at them. Bunker Bravo is supposed to be hard. It's supposed to be a challenge. It is in-game content. I fail at this all the time. Actually, I fail at it every time. When I'm finally able to complete a floor, it makes me feel fantastic because I know I just completed something that not everyone can do. If I'm going to compromise on this one, I would say that it does take a lot of guns to do a single floor for Bunker Bravo. One possible change could be to reduce the number of zombies that need to be killed while slightly increasing the amount of radiation that builds up. This way, you still have a time trial that you're trying to complete, but that being said, I still think it's fine how it is in the current game meta. Number 2, purchases to advance in the game. At the end of the day, Kefir is a company and they need to make money. I'm all for having microtransactions with the game. In Season 4, we unfortunately saw purchasing weigh in so heavily into the rewards. Well, that and clearing data. But let's be honest, purchasing was not to blame there. Things you buy in the game help you, but it's what you do with those purchases that determine if you can clear content or advance certain areas in the game. So to people saying that Last Day on Earth is pay to win, there is no win, only play. If you buy a gun and go die with it in a red zone, you didn't win anything. Purchasing in Last Day on Earth is definitely here to stay. While it shouldn't influence the rewards as much as we saw in Season 4, and I would agree, when you make a purchase, your items should not be random like what we see with blueprints, the purchasing system is a great way for players to opt into advancing their gameplay while helping this great game become even better. And coming in at number 1, wall tricking. This is one of the most controversial aspects to Last Day on Earth, and for the most part, there is no in between. If you watch YouTubers like Happy Sarek or streamers like Modic or myself, you know that wall tricking is a great way to save armor, health, and probably most importantly, guns. Guns that you need for police department waves or Bunker Bravo. Others, however, see wall tricking as a glitch that was never intended to be in the game, and the developers are, quote, too lazy to fix. Now, I disagree with this. Was wall tricking intended to be in the game? Probably not. But when developers realized it was, they designed the game around it, making some zombies, like frozen bloaters, have a trait that counters wall tricking to a small extent. Kefir even released a video poking fun at wall tricking as their way of saying, we know this is a thing and we don't care if you do it. So what do you think about this list? Is there anything that Kefir needs to change or leave exactly how it is that was forgotten? Please leave a comment below and let me know, and we will see you in the next video.